Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back in Landover, Maryland on a 49-degree afternoon, partly sunny skies, Redskins and Lions. Detroit won the toss, elected to defer. So the Redskins will receive the opening kickoff. Steven Sims back deep. Redskins have not won at home this season. Lions started the season 2-0-1, but have lost 6 of their last 7. Matt Prater will get things started. We are underway. Out of bounds, it is Sims across the 20. Sims still going. Finally knocked out of bounds at the 44-yard line. 34-yard return by Sims to get things started for Washington.
What an electric way to start this football game. Sims has got such great movement here. Watch us change the direction, the spin move. Stick your foot in the ground, get vertical. That's exactly what Dwayne Haskins and this offense wanted to start this football game. Great field position.
First and 10, 44-yard line. It is Adrian Peterson bottled up after a short gain as we head down to the field and welcome in Lindsay Czarniak. Lindsay.
Thank you, Kenny. You know, the amount of stuff that Dwayne Haskins must have going through his mind is enough to overwhelm anybody. But when I sat with him, was a significant shift in confidence. He is trying to earn the tag of being a leader. We've seen him be vocal with his teammates, but he's also leaning on them, specifically Alex Smith. He said, Alex said, be positive, be steady. And dude, by the way, you're doing a lot better than I did when I first started in this league. So guys, he's hoping to prove more doubters wrong today.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Haskins, the rookie out of Ohio State. It is Peterson on second down. And a nice tackle made by the D.C. native Tavon Wilson. Gain of just 1 for Adrian Peterson. 3rd down and 8.
Take a quick look. Knee is down. That ball is still in his possession. And we saw the return of Darius Geis last week at running back, but it's still going to be Adrian Peterson who gets the bulk of the running carries here. Wendell Smallwood will be in the backfield. Also, no Chris Thompson is at 3rd down back. He'll take the load on these 3rd downs.
Third down and 8. Redskins must get to the Detroit 46. Haskins hit as he worked to get rid of the football, and it's recovered by Tavon Wilson. No whistle on the field, so it's ruled a fumble. And Wilson returns it inside the Redskins' 40-yard line.
Definitely an empty hand here at the top of Dwayne Haskins' set here as he gets ready to throw this thing forward. Oh, yeah, ball is clearly out. Devon Kennard. Yeah, that's definitely empty hand. And good job by Tavon Wilson on the spot, picking up this fumble and giving to Detroit Lions. Great field position here to start their offensive series.
So Kennard comes up with his 6th sack, the forced fumble, the recovery by Tavon Wilson, and the Lions force a turnover on the Redskins' opening possession. So now Jeff Driskel and the Detroit offense will start at the Washington 38-yard line. Three receivers set. The rookie, Bo Scarborough in the backfield. This is Scarborough, who made his NFL debut last week. And he gains 5 down to the 33-yard line. Jeff Driskel makes his 3rd start, Rondé, for the injured Matthew Stafford.
Well, if you haven't seen him play, we know how athletic he is. It'll show up in this football game as well. He called it organic, and that's really just him a product of still learning this system. You know, Matthew Stafford, you never expect him to miss games, but Jeff Driskel has really taken advantage of his opportunity to play quarterback here in Detroit, and he's shown some really good things through a couple of weeks.
Driskel throws, and it's complete. Out at the 25-yard line for a first down, it's Danny Amendola.
Well, this Lions offense is dealing with a little bit of a shuffle up front. Graham Glasgow starting. Kenny Wiggins is back at right tackle. Joe Dahl goes to center, but Bo Scarborough last week took his opportunity and ran with it. I think everybody likes his style, his straight-ahead running ability, and really, Ken, I just want to see him do it again. Another repeat performance for this Lions running back room.
55 yards on the ground against Dallas last week for Scarborough. From the Washington 25, this is Scarborough, and Ryan Kerrigan is there to make the tackle. Gain of just 1 as we check out the Washington defense.
Well, we talked in the open about the 2 receivers for Detroit, Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. Well, to me, the best matchup out there is with Quinton Dunbar, number 23. He's had himself a really good season, leads his team in interceptions. His matchup ability, you see his length, you see how long he is. Both of those receivers that I just mentioned are of the 6'2" and up variety. Keep an eye on that one today.
Dunbar was one of Jess Driscoll's wide receivers at the University of Florida. Playing on the other side here in the NFL, and it's John Bostic who comes up to make the tackle.
This Redskins linebacker group, here's Bostic right here in the middle of your screen. They switched a bunch of players in here, but watch him read through this and sift through that offensive line, make a nice tackle for loss. And when you're a defense and you're a Redskins, your offense comes out, turns the ball over on their first series. It is imperative that they get a stop here and try to hold Detroit to a field goal opportunity.
3rd down and 12 for the Lions. Ty Johnson out of the University of Maryland in the backfield. 3 receivers set. Driskel looking on 3rd and long, connects with Johnson out of the backfield, and he will be tackled at the 21-yard line by Fabian Moreau. So the Lions will send out the field goal unit.
Now, Fabian Moreau is starting today for Josh Norman, who is active on the sideline, but that's exactly what this Redskins defense was looking for. Something, completion in front of him, come up, make the top, and there's Josh Norman standing on the sideline behind Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator. And this is a point in the season, I think, where the Redskins are looking to get some young guys some playing time. We saw them play some young defensive backs at the end of the last game. It'll probably continue through the course of this game as well.
39-yard attempt, Matt Prater from the right hash. Sam Martin placed it down, and Prater's kick is no good. The wind took it wide right. The early turnover by the Redskins gave the Lions excellent field position, but they could not capitalize. Scoreless early first quarter. Rondé, look at the flag blowing in the wind following that Lions missed field goal.
Well, maybe gusting a little bit. It is a beautiful day. You can see there's not a cloud in the sky there, but that was a big miss. That ball moved a lot to get outside of that right goalpost.
So the Redskins get the ball back from the 30-yard line. Off the play fake to Peterson. Haskins complete to the tight end, Jeremy Sprinkle. Gain of 4. Romeo Okwara brings him down. 2nd and 6 upcoming.
I mean, let's watch this. The kick is good. I mean, he hits it. I mean, I'm not a kicker, but look how much that thing moves. It's going to the left upright. It ends up outside.
Down to Lindsey.
Kenny, it is kind of like there are pockets of wind that come through, but the one thing that I've noticed down here, besides it just being a gust here and there, is the fact that there's garbage that keeps blowing on the field too. So it is windier than I felt down here. Certainly something that could have come into play.
All right, thanks, Lindsey. 17-mile-per-hour winds is what we've been told. On 2nd and 4, it is Peterson up the middle, and he will pick up a first down out across the 40-yard line.
You know, the biggest thing Dwayne Haskins is going to have to learn as a young quarterback is identifying defenses. And mentioned in our open, he played against Buffalo. They do some unique things. Last week against the Jets, Greg Williams' defense is crazy. And Matt Patricia has a unit that is very amorphous up front. It's really hard to identify what they're trying to do with the defensive front and the linebackers. And the challenge is going to be on Haskins to identify that.
Play fake. Haskins going deep, and it's out of the reach of Terry McLaurin. Second down and 10 coming up for Washington.
Well, in a game against two teams that aren't great, there is a premium matchup, and it's this. Terry McLaurin versus Darius Slay. He wins at the line of scrimmage, and he had him. He had him beat. This ball just sails on Dwayne Haskins, and if there's an area where he struggles, it's that. His balls down the field tend to drift a little bit higher, and he puts that one out of the reach of his young, sensational wide receiver in Terry McLaurin.
Darius Geis made his return last week. Romeo Okwara makes his second tackle.
Yeah, it's
Third
good.
long.
Yeah, it's good to have Romeo Okwara back for this Lions defense. Good move. Really pretty picture right there, watching him beat. And then that is a sound tackle by number 95 there on Darius Geis. And we saw Darius Geis last week in his return, run physical, run through some players on the Jets defense. That was a nice defensive stop there by the Lions defensive end.
Okwara back. Detroit without Trey Flowers on that D-line. Third down and 10. Redskins must get to the Lions 49. Haskins takes off. Will pick up a first down and more. All the way to the Lions 41-yard line. Haskins gains 18.
Well, Detroit brings pressure here. You're going to see 5 guys come into the pressure. That's considered a blitz in the NFL, but good job avoiding that and getting up the field. I mean, a lot of young quarterbacks will panic in this situation. His mobility is somewhat underrated. This is a nice gain. Pick up the first down there on third long.
His longest run of the season. Peterson in the backfield. First and 10 from the Lions 41. Haskins throws near side. It is McLaurin. And he is finally brought down at the 38-yard line. As we take a look at the Washington offense now, Donald Penn is the usual starter at left tackle, but today it's Jaron Christian.
Well, to me, they're playing some young guys. We mentioned it on the defensive side, but Adrian Peterson's got to be involved. This is a Lions defense that really, when I put the film on, struggles in gap control. You see some couple of guys in the same gaps a lot of times. This offense, this Redskins offense, has been at its best when they're running the ball effectively the past 5 or 6 weeks with Adrian Peterson.
Second down and 6. It's number 26, Peterson. And he will lose yardage. So Peterson knocked out of bounds back at the 40 as we check out the Detroit defensive unit.
Oh, it's been a struggle. Definitely in pass defense for Detroit the past couple of weeks. Keep an eye on Tavon Wilson. Kenny, you've already mentioned he's coming back to his hometown, playing his first game here against the Redskins, and he's been one of the most consistent players on this defense. Matt Patricia asked this guy to do a lot of different things, wears a lot of hats, so to speak. You'll see him all over the football field.
Right, Patricia told us yesterday he's played as many as 7 different positions in one game for the Lions this season. Third down and 9. Redskins need the Detroit 31 for a first down as Haskins throws. It's McLaurin, his teammate at Ohio State, fellow rookie here in Washington. Gain of 10 at a Redskins first down.
Really nice here. You look for development, maturity. Watch him read the field from his right all the way back to his left. Knows he has the dagger, which is the inside breaking route by McLaurin. Nice strong throw, good completion there between the two rookies.
Well, it's not often that a receiver has more receptions as a rookie in the NFL than he did during his senior season in college.
It's unbelievable when you think that he was the 4th receiver at Ohio State last year.
On first down, up the middle, it is Geis as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Carissa Thompson.
Thank you so much, Kenny. Panthers, Saints. Drew Brees hands it off to Latavius Murray, who's going to take this one in from 26 yards out, his 5th of the season. Saints up on the Panthers early, 7-0. Kenny, Rondé, and Lindsay.
All right, thanks, Carissa. NFC South battle, Saints and Panthers. Here in Landover, Maryland, Redskins on the move. Throwing the ball over on their opening drive. This is the 10th play of this possession. Haskins and a beautiful catch made by the rookie Kelvin Harmon for a Washington first down.
Oh, man, talk about young receivers stepping up. You're going to see him. This is Harmon right here running through this defense, and this is a confident throw by Dwayne Haskins. But then this catch, oh, my God. He didn't even bring his other hand to the football. What a spectacular catch by Harmon. Talk about helping out your rookie quarterback. Rookie receiver making a special play, too.
The rookie out of NC State. During preseason, his teammate Josh Norman referred to him as Baby Julio. Kelvin Harmon makes the play for a first down. Dice down to the Lions 10. Gains a couple. Darius Geis, injured in the first preseason game as a rookie, and then makes his return this year, week 1 against Philadelphia. And he suffers a torn meniscus, returned last week.
Oh, he is a determined runner. You know, it's funny when you hear coaches talk about the violent runner. He is the definition of that. He searches out contact. He's not scared of it, but he also has that explosive ability. We saw it last week on his screen for a touchdown. So, I think we'll see a lot of Darius Geis in this football game today, in that same vein, trying to get some young guys some playing time.
Redskins have controlled the ball for over 7 minutes on this drive. Haskins looks, he throws, just out of the reach of McLaurin.
He had him here. Darius Slay is in coverage here. He gets caught up in the trash. This is a throw that he's got to make. And again, we talk about Dwayne Haskins. Some of his throws tend to sail on him. Coverage is there, but coverage is not there. Terry McLaurin is wide open. A little less on that pass. It's a touchdown.
Redskins have only 2 touchdowns in their last 17 quarters, both in the fourth quarter against the Jets last week. They went 16 quarters without reaching the end zone. Third down and 8. Haskins sets, and he throws, that time looking for Steven Sims. So Washington will send out the field goal unit.
Oh, Dwayne Haskins is going to need to calm down a little bit. That's at least the 3rd pass in 2 drives that have sailed on him with guys that are somewhat open. And there's his offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell. I'm sure he's telling him exactly that. Calm down, young man. These balls are open. Take your time, make an accurate throw, and we have something.
There's Kevin O'Connell. So here is Dustin Hopkins out to attempt a 28-yard field goal from the left hash. Hopkins' kick is good. Redskins score in the first quarter for the first time in their last 6 games, set up by this spectacular catch by the rookie Kelvin Harmon. 14-play, 60-yard drive. Redskins held to 3. They controlled the ball for over 7 minutes. Redskins last in the league Rondé in time of possession. Lions are without their usual return man, Jamal Agnew. So Ty Johnson is back deep. Johnson will take it out. The former Maryland Terp is out to the 25-yard line. Speaking of college football, coming up next Saturday, the big noon Saturday game of the week, number 2 Ohio State and number 13 Michigan. Start Saturday strong, 10 Eastern, with a special 2-hour big noon kickoff pregame show live from the Big House. Catch it all on Fox and the Fox Sports app. There's the former Buckeye.
Yeah, some good college football games yesterday. Those top 4 remain where they are, though. That's going to be a big one.
Jeff Driskel, who played at both Florida and Louisiana Tech, back out with the Lions offense from the 24-yard line. As Driskel can't find anyone downfield, stays on his feet. And then that pass was batted by Montez Sweat.
Well, the one thing you will notice about Jeff Driskel is this ability to get away from rushers. He is a big kid that can move. Got the funny arm angles. He can deliver passes off schedule, off platform, all those other things. But they'll run some read option with him where he'll actually keep the football. He scored a touchdown last week in their game doing exactly that.
McKissick in motion off the fake to Scarborough. Driskel moves to his right. There he goes. Driskel out across the 40. Picks up a Lions first down. Anyone you ask Driskel about, the first thing they mention is the athleticism.
Oh, it's apparent. You know, this was a guy in Cincinnati who they're trying to make a wide receiver, so the athleticism is there. But he really relishes the opportunity to play quarterback in the NFL, and he's getting that opportunity with Matthew Stafford sideline with that back injury. But look, I look at him and I see a guy that can throw it. Obviously, he has the added element of being able to run the football. We just saw that. He's got a little bit of a potential as a quarterback in the NFL, I think.
Play fake. Here comes Kerrigan. Driskel connects with Amendola. Gain of just 2 as we head back to Los Angeles. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Seahawks trailing 3-0 in Philly when Russell Wilson pitches it to Chris Carson. Carson back to Wilson, who airs it out to Malik Turner. It's a nice first career touchdown for Turner. Hawks up in this one, 7-3. Kenny?
Thanks, Carissa. How about Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks with a record of 8-2?
Yeah, and obviously the most competitive division in football out west with the start of the season to San Fran, and obviously the Rams playing in the Super Bowl last year. That one's going to be fun towards the end of the year.
Second down and 8. Here's Scarborough. Scarborough out to midfield. Monte Nicholson made the tackle. Final minute, first quarter here at Landover. Scarborough made his NFL debut last week, gained 55 yards on the ground against the Cowboys, and he gets the start again today.
Big, strong runner. And how about that little jump cut? That play looked to be dead there in the middle after the penetration by Washington, but showed me a little bit of ability to not only run through people, but run around them. That was a nice pickup.
By the way, Rondé, the 2 biggest plays in this quarter, 18-yard run by Haskins, 18-yard run by Driskel.
I'll look at you with your stats, Kenny. I love it.
2 quarterbacks getting it done on the ground. Here's Scarborough. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter. Redskins with an early turnover. Lions missed a field goal. Redskins connected. Hopkins with a 28-yarder, accounting for the only scoring to this point. 3-0 Washington. Darrell Bevell, the Lions offensive coordinator, an offense that is ranked 8th in the league coming up into this week 12. They've put up some good numbers this year.
Well, I think what you champion this offense about is Darrell Bevell's ability to adjust the scheme for his young quarterback, Jeff Driskel here. Totally different types of quarterbacks, but still finding ways to score points.
Second down and 8. As Driskel throws, and down the sideline, it is Kenny Golladay. And he's finally tackled at the 11-yard line. You talked about Golladay and Marvin Jones, the big play receivers for the Lions.
Well, he's working against Quinton Dunbar here, and as a cornerback, if you go try to make that play and you miss it, you're giving up a lot of yardage here. You have to be able to secure the tackle if you're not going to make a play on the football. Kenny Golladay continues to impress, and at the best of that first matchup between Dunbar and one of these 2 big receivers.
Galladay's first catch gains 35 yards. Now the handoff to Johnson. Ty Johnson down to the 7, pick up a 4.
Well, it's definitely going to be a little bit of everybody. Committee, Ty Johnson, obviously Kerryon Johnson on injured reserve. So you'll see Bo Scarborough, J.D. McKissick will get some run as the 3rd down back. He has some carries on the year. But when I was getting ready for this game, have not had Detroit this year, realized there's been 19 players that have run with the football for this offense. So they've had to deal with a lot of injuries on this side of the ball.
On 2nd and 6, Driskel takes it down to the 5-yard line. Cole Holcomb was all over him and initially could not bring him down.
Well, they're prepared for this. In this zone read, somebody's got to go down on the runner, Kerrigan there, but you have to have an overlapping secondary player, linebacker or DB, and really good job by Holcomb there, staying to his job, not getting caught up in that play fake and making a tackle on the athletic quarterback.
3rd down and 4. Lions could pick up a first down without reaching the end zone. Driskel under pressure, able to get rid of it. He was wrapped up by John Bostic. It's an incomplete pass. So the Lions will send out the field goal unit.
Well, good job by McNuskey bringing some pressure. You'll see Bostic just sprint through the line here. They were a little confused getting lined up, but that confusion may have confused the offensive line of Detroit because nobody was set in place, and they're able to force that incompletion and bring out this field goal unit for Detroit.
So here's Prater, who missed at the other end from 39. This will be a shorter attempt. Ball placed down at the 14-yard line. Following the snap, this will be a 24-yard attempt. From the right hash, Prater's kick this time is straight through. So the Lions have tied it early second quarter. 3-3. Welcome back, tied at 3. Jeff Driskel looking at the last Lions possession along with offensive coordinator Darrell Bevel and
Matthew Stafford over there with the Lions beanie cap on. It's not that cold out here, Matthew.
An unusual position. He had started 136 consecutive games. Now missing his third straight. Steven Sims back deep for the Redskins. Sims had a big return earlier, takes this one on the run, lost the football, and stays on his feet. Out across the 30 and still going. Steven Sims will take this all the way into the end zone. 91 yards for a Redskins touchdown.
Well, he had the dynamic kickoff return to start the game, but how about this one? Sometimes these balls that end up on the field are the hardest for coverage teams to deal with. You kind of slow down. You kind of think, wait a minute, what's going on here? And Sims, watch this elusive ability and just the quick cuts and then this acceleration. That's a special speed burst right there by Sims. What a play. Redskins special teams.
The rookie out of Kansas had a 65-yard rushing TD against New England earlier this season. Brings the kickoff all the way back. First by a Redskin in 4 seasons. Hopkins with the extra point. Washington with a 10-3 lead.
Oh, that's exactly what you wanted if you're Washington at home.
Some trouble at first. Back after this message from AT&T.
Sims accelerates like a sports car. What kind of sports car you got in your garage, Kenny?
Certainly not one like you have in yours.
I don't know if my Corvette goes that fast, man. Wow. He is, what you notice, especially on that play, even the first kickoff return, how good he is in space. I mean, he's not a big guy, but he gets in amongst those big bodies, and his quickness really stands out. Get a little bit of oxygen. Why not?
Officially 94 yards, even though he had the initial issue, not scoop up the ball till the 9-yard line. Steven Sims, 10-3 Washington. Ty Johnson thought about coming out, takes a knee. Lions will start from their 25. A Detroit team that had been getting off to fast starts. They were 3rd in the league in first quarter points. Shut out over the first 15 minutes today and trailed by 7.
I'll give some credit to the Washington defense. After that initial turnover by Dwayne Haskins, they got a stop down near the red zone, and then on that last possession, they did get a stop in the red zone that forced that field goal attempt by Prater, and then the special teams play by Sims gives them this 10-3 lead.
From the 25 on first down. Lions trailing by 7. Driskel looking for Marvin Jones. Out of his reach. Back to Los Angeles, Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Browns up 7-0 on the Dolphins with Baker Mayfield. has time and finds Odell Beckham Jr. deep down the field, 35-yard score. Beckham's first touchdown since week 2. Browns lead this one 14-0 on the Dolphins. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Carissa. A rare sight for Cleveland Browns fans this season.
A 14-point lead. They'll take it.
As Carissa mentioned, Beckham's first touchdown since week 2. Second and 10. Play action. Driskel with time, can't find anybody. And he will be tackled. Brought down back at the 23-yard line. Matt Ioannidis, who leads the Redskins in sacks, now has 5.5.
Well, he just stays in the fight here, Matt Ioannidis. And then when Jeff Driskel decides to step up in his pocket and try to run, he's right there to bring him to the ground. And we mentioned Matt Ioannidis a lot last week. He's had a bunch of impactful plays. Not very often you have a 3-4 type of defense and you have an interior defensive lineman that leads your team in sacks, but he has been a hustler for this unit all season long.
I know you've enjoyed watching him on film the last few weeks. Third down and 11. Driskel steps up and fires. It's caught by Marvin Hall. That will bring his average down. He's been averaging 40 yards per reception on his first 6 catches. This one only 21, but he does pick up a first.
Well, the route is just an inside breaking route over the top of zone defense, but we talk a lot about Jeff Driskel's ability to run. How about his ability to spin the football here? Man, that is a 21-yard dagger over the middle of the zone defense and a great completion on 3rd and long.
We were joking about that with Driskel. He said, yeah, if you don't throw one for 40 yards to Marvin, his average comes down. And now Driskel is going deep and is picked off by Fabian Moreau.
What a great interception. Great coverage, just bailing out. And he had the sense that they were going to take another shot at Marvin Hall. Not so fast, says Fabian Moreau. Takeaway, Redskins.
Fabian Moreau on the right, starting for Josh Norman, second career pick.
Well, he's just playing off coverage and bailing. And on that drive, Detroit tried 3 balls down the field. Explosive type plays and not able to take advantage of Washington's defense that has struggled. And there's Josh Norman sitting out this game. We actually were at practice and he wasn't on the football field. I know there were some reports that he was going to be inactive this game, but he is suited up, ready to go in case they need him. But again, they are going to get a look at some of these young defensive backs for this Washington defense today.
So Moreau with the interception. Redskins start from the 11-yard line. The handoff to Adrian Peterson. And Peterson gains a couple out to the 13.
Robinson, 11 defenders.
We mentioned earlier, Jaron Christian made the start at left tackle. Donald Penn in the game now for the Redskins, 13-year vet. Left side of your screen, number 72. Second down at 7. As Haskins goes deep, too far once again for McLaurin.
This coverage was better. I mean, he's double covered. Darius Slay playing a little bit underneath him. He has a safety climbing over the top, and Haskins trying to fit that into a tight window way down the field. A little bit of pressure. Jared Davis coming in unscathed to put Haskins on the ground, and I think we'll see a lot of that. If I was Matt Patricia, I'd give this kid as many different looks as possible. He just doesn't have the time on task, so to speak, to really understand what's going against him. But this Detroit defense plays so much one-on-one, so much one-on-one coverage that Dwayne Haskins just has to pick his guy and throw it.
Haskins on 3rd down and 7. That pass intended for the tight end, Jeremy Sprinkles. So the Redskins unable to capitalize following the Moreau interception. And now they will punt it away.
Just looking for that touch still, Dwayne Haskins. Maybe that should have been a catch and went right through his hands. Coverage was decent, and I'm not sure that he would have picked up the first down had he completed it. But Dwayne Haskins starts this game 4 of 9, and at least 4 of his passes have had guys that were available to make catches. He just missed them.
This is the first punt of today's game, Rondé, on either side. And it's a good one by Tress Way. Marvin Hall on the return. Mentioned earlier, Jamal Agnew is out. The usual return man. Good field position for the Lions. Haskins back to the sidelines. Redskins lead by 7.
Oh, God. Are those Patricia beers? Oh, that kid.
How about the pencil?
Pencil in the hat. That's classic. Oh, that kid in the middle's got a long way to go before he can grow a real beard like that. Actually, I think I have a long way to go before I can grow a beard like that.
A long way. Pat Patricia grows his beard every season to honor friends and family in the military overseas, most of whom usually sport full beards. Ball comes loose. Officials will try and get to the bottom of the pile.
I'd be shocked if they say there's a fumble. His forward progress had stopped well before that ball was wrestled away from him, but they're giving it to him.
Redskins have recovered. So the Lions have turned it over on back-to-back plays.
Well, this one you almost feel sorry for Bo Scarborough. They didn't blow this play dead, so replay can't overturn progress. Obviously, they'll look at it. It'll be tough to see anyways where this thing came out, and since they ruled it a fumble on the field, it's likely going to stay that way.
Now, remember, all turnovers are reviewed, but really hard to see the middle of that pile-up.
And I guess we can look and see if his leg's on the ground at all, but he's still standing. The majority of this pile, and I mean, our pictures are as close in there as you can possibly get, and we still haven't seen the ball out. No, there's the knee right there. Still don't see the ball out.
Although we did see the Redskin player start to react as if the ball was out.
That could be an acting game, too. There you go. This is probably the best picture we have to see the ball if you can squeeze in there. And I just don't even think we can see it in that scrum.
You would have never tried that. Acting out on the field. Would you have?
There you go. There's the ball. There's the ball. Drop it out. Go back just 2 frames right there. You see it dropping out right between his legs. And he is still up. That knee that we mentioned before is not on the ground. So certain this will stay confirmed as a fumble.
Great job by our crew.
Had to work for that picture, but
it did.
Good job, guys.
So the Lions back-to-back plays commit turnovers, and the Redskins take over at their 49-yard line. On first down, it's Geis up the middle, breaks through, and picks up the Redskins' first down. A gain of 11 to the Detroit 40.
About the patience in this running, just waiting on Brandon Sheriff. Watch number 75 move off that double team, go up to the linebacker Tavai, and then Darius Geis with the patience I just mentioned, squeeze through there and pick up some nice runs. And of course, Dwayne Haskins likes that. The run game gets going here in Washington.
Harmon in motion from the Lions 40. On first down, it's Geis again. This time picks up a couple down to the 38. For the Lions, it's been a first half filled with mistakes. 2 turnovers committed by their offense, and then on special teams, a missed field goal, and they allow a kickoff return for a touchdown.
You wonder how teams lose football games. It's this way. It's making those self-inflicted type mistakes, whether it's been penalties for Detroit. In this game, it's been turnovers and the missed field goal attempt by Prater. But it behooves Washington to take advantage of it. They haven't won here in forever. And if they're going to find ways to win, they have to capitalize on these gifts that they've been given by this Detroit team.
Right, 9 straight home losses, 1 shy of a franchise record. Second down and 8 as Haskins fires, and McLaurin this time makes the catch for a Redskins first down.
He finds a really good soft area behind the defense, Terry McLaurin does, and Dwayne Haskins biding the time. He realizes that the Detroit Lions are in some sort of zone coverage and that there's going to be space over top of the corner, and then Terry McLaurin, this guy can make some contested catches now. We saw a great one last week. There's another one right before he makes contact. Big play for his Washington offense.
26-yard completion. Extra blockers in for the Redskins on first down. Our first flags of the game.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's on the right guard, Brandon Sheriff. McLaurin with that big play a moment ago, and you alluded to this earlier, Rondé. He was only the 4th leading receiver for Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State as a 5th-year senior last season.
Well, look at the production. 35 catches, 11 touchdowns. I mean, you can make the argument that he was the most productive of those 4 wide receivers. He did the most with his touches, and when you talk to Ike Hilliard, their wide receiver coach here in Washington, he's been a surprise, but if you watch the tape, the talent was definitely there, and they got a steal with him.
More movement, more flags. Bill Vinovich, our referee.
Before the defender got in the neutral zone, false start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Back-to-back false starts. This time it's the tight end Sprinkle.
We go back to Terry McLaurin real quick. When we had these guys earlier in the year, and we talked to Kevin O'Connell, the offensive coordinator. He told us, look, we went and watched Dwayne Haskins. We were going to scout a quarterback, and Terry McLaurin came out and did his pro day with him. Wasn't his day, but he came out and showcased himself for this Redskins team, and they made the decision to draft him in the third round of this year's draft.
And it's paid off for the Redskins. First down and 20 following a pair of Washington penalties. From the Detroit 22, Haskins to the outside. It's Paul Richardson making his return from injury today. Did not play last week. And for more on the Haskins-McLaurin combo, down to Lindsay.
Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, I was able to talk to McLaurin, and the interesting thing he said is that he's pumped for people to see this in Haskins, that when he gets into a rhythm, he described it as almost like an elite NBA player when they get into a zone. He says that's the thing that folks don't get to see, but it's coming. He said he's constantly talking about what they're going to do in the game to be better. Also, if either of these guys mess up, they look at each other, get in their faces, and pump each other up. He said that's a tactic they've been doing since college.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Second down and 14. Haskins still with it, and he's spun down at the 19-yard line by A'Shawn Robinson.
Well, really good job by Detroit, kind of sniffing out this screen. You're going to see a lot of action. The receiver, Sims, goes in motion, pivots back out to the other side, trying to draw the defense, but Detroit's having none of it. Big Snacks Harrison chasing down the running back, and really, if you're Dwayne Haskins, part of your learning process is realizing the play is going nowhere. Just get rid of it. Don't take that hit or that sack. It looked like he was trying to do a little bit too much when that play broke down.
Second sack for the Lions. Third down and 17. Haskins throws, looking for Richardson, and the ball came loose.
Almost unbelievable catch by Paul Richardson.
And then Amani Oruwariye almost came up with the football as well.
I'm glad you I'm glad you pronounced his name. That's a tough one to pronounce, but the coverage was really, really good. Paul Richardson tried to double move and almost makes the spectacular catch. Instead, it's just a really cool looking incompletion.
You thought all incompletions were cool.
Absolutely.
During your 16 years in the league.
Incomplete, good play. This is the end of the field where Prater's kick went very much awry. Let's see what we have here.
From 37, no issue for Dustin Hopkins as the Redskins extend their lead. 13-3 Washington. Rondé, we talked about the mistakes made by the Lions in this first half. There they are.
Well, the one thing we talked to Detroit this weekend, the one thing they said they were doing well was protecting the football. Obviously, you can't account for the special teams errors on defense, but on offense, his turnovers hampering them to start this football game.
Ty Johnson on the return out to the 30-yard line. So the Lions trailing by 10. You look at blown leads under Matt Patricia. They've had a lead in every game this season. And since Patricia took over, they've blown 6 leads in the fourth quarter. So today, a different story. They have not had the lead, but they are one of only 3 teams this season, along with the 49ers and the Chiefs, that have led in every game.
And they just haven't been able to overcome some of their issues late in football games. They played 3 close games to start the year and then lost 2 close ones and been off the rails since then.
Remember, they've turned it over on their last 2 plays. This pass is complete for a first down to Kenny Golladay out at the 47-yard line.
This is a nice throw and catch here. Man-to-man coverage, bump man-to-man coverage. 2 long players here, and that's just a great, at the top of the route, move by Golladay. And more importantly, his quarterback, Jeff Driskel, delivering it on time where Quinton Dunbar can't get back into that play. Nice completion after a bunch of negative plays for this Lions offense.
Down to 17. On first down, it's Scarborough. John Bostic, first Redskin. He's had an active first half.
Absolutely, he has. John Bostic has been in at least 3 or 4 tackles and had a pressure on the quarterback. That was a really nice job going underneath the block and making that tackle on Scarborough.
Bostic, a teammate of Jeff Driskel at the University of Florida.
Oh, I see the connections. The connections are everywhere. We haven't even talked about all the Alabama players on this football field today.
That's right, they're everywhere. 2nd and 7. Golladay in motion. Driskel on 2nd down, takes off, and will pick up a first down. The flag on the field as Driskel scrambles for 9. But we will check in with Bill Vinovich.
Holding. Defense number 31. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's on Fabian Moreau, who had the interception earlier.
Well, Redskins are not a team that blitz a whole bunch, but they bring pressure here, and here's 31. Here, this is going to be the foul down the field as this play starts to break down on Danny Amendola. But you bring pressure on a guy like Jeff Driskel, who can get out of the pocket, and you do it at your own risk because he can avoid the big guys, and he can run away from almost any defensive lineman that's on the field.
1st and 10 from the Washington 37. Johnson in the backfield. Takes the handoff from Driskel. Faked the handoff to Johnson, and it's Driskel down to the 32. Fooled everybody in the building.
It fooled you, Kenny. It didn't fool me. I saw him holding the ball. I'm just kidding. This is a great play to be able to incorporate into a offense with a guy who hasn't seen a lot of reps at quarterback. You know, he had, Darrell Bevell worked with Russell Wilson, obviously, in Seattle, and he told us having that experience working with a running quarterback really helped him be able to prepare for some of the plays that he's going to showcase Jeff Driskel here while he's starting at quarterback.
Also worked with Brett Favre up in Green Bay. 2nd down and 5. This time he does hand it off, but maybe he shouldn't have, as Landon Collins comes up to make the tackle on Ty Johnson.
Oh, this is a nice play by Landon Collins, but it's a really easy tackle. You're going to see the offensive line just open up for him. Inside zone read, and if you're blitzing a safety unaccounted for, it's going to be a hit in the backfield. And Landon Collins, one of the more active box safeties, and box safeties, I mean a guy that's down near the line of scrimmage in the NFL.
Went to 3 Pro Bowls with the New York Giants. Collins makes the play, 3rd down and 6. Lions must get to the 27. Pressure on Driskel. Down he goes, back at the 9-yard line. First career sack for the rookie, Cole Holcomb.
Well, they are doing a lot, mugging the A-gaps here, putting all these bodies in the line of scrimmage. This is going to be the guy who sacks him at the end of the line of scrimmage because he's unblocked. Jeff Driskel, nowhere to go with this football initially, and the offensive line slides protection away. Layup sack for Cole Holcomb. This Redskins defense is playing today.
And that sack takes the Lions out of field goal range.
And if you're at this point, you're Matt Patricia, it's almost that area on the field where do you punt or do you go for it? I mean, a punt here, it's only going to gain you about, what, 20 yards at most? So if you're Washington, be prepared for a fake, something unconventional to happen here.
Redskins called a timeout. Stop the clock. 2:25 remaining. Lions get the ball first following halftime. The punt from midfield. And it will be down inside the 5. So the Lions in the Redskins deep. Cole Holcomb, first career sack, he celebrates. Look at the NFC playoff pictures. Saints and Seahawks leading in their games. San Francisco and Green Bay face off tonight. Dallas and New England later today. America's Game of the Week on Fox. Minnesota off. Lions on the right side. They can get to 9 wins if they win out.
Well, you see the wild card standing there. There's 2 teams in this position now have 8, so a lot of work going. They got to start getting something going here today in Washington.
Adrian Peterson on first down as the clock winds down, and we will hit the 2-minute warning here in Landover. Redskins looking to end a 9-game losing streak here at FedEx Field. Sims with a big return, 13-3 lead. Welcome back, Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Lindsey Zarniak. Redskins with a 10-point lead. 2 minutes remaining in the half. Lions have all 3 of their timeouts.
Yeah, and Washington needs a first down here. You remember, Lions get the ball coming out of half. They could almost steal a possession here, possession and a half, so to speak, if they're able to get a stop here because of those timeouts. So Washington's going to need to get these yardage here. They're going to give the ball back to Detroit with some good field position.
On 2nd and 7. Peterson out to the 13-yard line, so 3rd down and 2 coming up for the Redskins.
And Matt Patricia choosing not to use one of those timeouts here and see if his defense can get a stop here on 3rd and short.
Still has 3 in his pocket.
And look, it's 2-minute drill, and most offenses, I think more advanced offenses, maybe a more veteran quarterback would try to go down and get a score here, but I think they're playing the clock game here, Bill Callahan and his Redskins offense.
Haskins looks to throw on 3rd down, and it's incomplete. Diving attempt made by Trey Quinn, so now the clock stops at 1:16. Redskins will be punting from deep in their territory, and the Lions have all 3 of their timeouts.
Yeah, the incompletion hurts Washington here. It was a tough catch for Trey Quinn. It was just a little bit outside of his frame. He had the coverage that he wanted man-to-man. The throw was just a touch off.
Marvin Hall is deep, waiting at his 35-yard line.
Detroit will definitely want to set up a return here. They can get the ball on the plus side of the 50, then they'll be in pretty good shape with a minute or so left in the half.
Crest Way punting from his 4-yard line. Bounces in front of Marvin Hall. Takes a bit of a Redskins roll, and the Lions will start from their 42. What's coming up at the half, Kurt Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Panthers try to rebound from last week's loss as they travel to New Orleans. The 3-7 Broncos take on the 7-3 Bills, and Mason Rudolph makes his return against the Bengals after last week's melee. It's all next on the Visa halftime.
That's the right stuff going into studio for our guys.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Visa halftime report is next, but first the Lions will look to cut into this Redskins lead. From the 42 on first down, Driskel's pass Deflected, and then it hits the turf. And then a flag is thrown.
Two guys go for that deflected pass for Detroit. Same team.
This is against Washington.
I think it's going to be a little contact at the point.
Pass interference. Defense number 32. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Jimmy Moreland.
Jimmy Moreland right here. Let's see. It gets contact as the ball's going to him. Yeah, he gets there just a second before. And in the old days, they used to call that bang bang. Our super slow-mo camera shows that, in fact, it was pass interference.
First and 10 from midfield. As Driskel sets up the screen, it's Johnson. Gain of 5. Under a minute remaining. Lions have still not used a timeout.
And Jeff Driskel's not used to running these situations. He's only played in 2 games at quarterback. He's got to be able to communicate to his wide receivers, the entire offense, what's going on.
Driskel's pass is caught. What a catch by Marvin Jones.
Wow, what a catch. Coverage is there. Adrian Moreau is all over this coverage, and look at that catch. Oh, my goodness. The throw was a little risky, but the catch was spectacular. Marvin Jones.
His first catch today, gain of 14. 36 seconds on the clock. First and 10 from the Redskins 31. Driskel in trouble. Brought down back at the 40. Timeout taken, 22 seconds.
Looked at first like face mask, but no, it is jersey, and Allen just mauled the offensive guard there, Dahl, all the way back into the quarterback and secured that sack. And if you're Jeff Driskel, you really just want to get the ball out of your hands. Obviously, you're forced to take a timeout, but all the field position loss is going to be huge for Detroit here.
Third Redskins sack. 5th of the season for Jonathan Allen. Redskins without Deron Payne today up front. So the Lions now facing a second down and 18. 27 seconds remaining in the half. Looking for the tight end that time, T.J. Hawkinson, with John Bostic defending. 3rd and long, 24 seconds.
Good coverage by John Bostic. He tries to run this little pivot out. Bostic is all over. He almost runs the route for him, and perfect pass defense over the shoulder of the rookie tight end here. So if you're Detroit, you know that Washington is not going to challenge here. They don't want to give up play down the field. Just find a completion over the middle. You still got those timeouts to use to give you a little bit more room for your kicker.
And now a timeout taken by Washington.
Second charge timeout.
Their second.
Washington.
It has been a first half filled with Lions miscues. Prater wide right from 39. And then the return by Steven Sims. The only touchdown of this first half. 91 yards. And then Driskel picked off by Fabian Moreau. Scarborough also lost a fumble. So the number crunchers in New York, they did change that return back to 91 yards for those scoring at home. It's gone back and forth a couple of times, but it still counts for 6 points. 3rd down at 18. Driskel to the outside, it's Jones. So the Lions will look to get 3 here as they send out the field goal units. They elected not to use some timeouts earlier. Clock ran down. They finally used one. And then the sack. Now they get some of the yardage back, and Prater will attempt a 49-yard field goal.
I think they'll be happy with the field goal attempt here. If they were able to score a touchdown, obviously it's a big momentum shift going into halftime, getting the ball back. But Prater's got to convert. We've already seen the pull slice going the other way. This one from 49 yards.
He's 1 for 2 today from the right hash. Prater from 49. It is good. So the Redskins lead is 7. As Prater hits from 49. Washington Redskins getting that special teams touchdown, and they're looking to end a long losing streak here, but they've taken advantage of some of the Detroit miscues.
Yeah, hasn't been much on offense, really, by either team. Seen some misses by Dwayne Haskins early. He's been kind of a notorious slow starter in his career thus far, but Jeff Driskel in the Detroit offense could do nothing. You give some credit to this Washington defense, and look, they got the turnovers, the interception, the fumble recovery, but it's really been the special teams that have been the difference. You mentioned it, the kickoff return for a touchdown, and then the missed field goal attempt, and either quarterback is lighting it up. Only 15 completions between the two of them, and far less than 200 yards combined.
8th NFL start for Driskel, 3rd for Haskins. Driskel started 5 games for the Cincinnati Bengals last season for the injured Andy Dalton. Now replacing the injured Matthew Stafford. Wynn took that ball off the tee. Now, Driskel started this season with Cincinnati. They released him, and he was signed in mid-September by the Lions.
And he had a good story for us, too. You know, trying to get yourself up to speed with Darrell Bevell's offense. He said he went back and watched all the install tapes from preseason, and it's hard to climb that learning curve when you come in late into the season, especially at that position, at quarterback. They got such a complicated offense and a guy that's been running it for so long. So the differences in it, coupled with his success, I think have been pretty impressive in his first 2 starts in Detroit.
Haskins and the Redskins offense back on the field, 14 seconds remaining. Haskins made his first home start last week, played his high school football less than 30 miles from FedEx Field. And his Redskins will take a 7-point lead into the locker room at halftime. A special teams score on the 91-yard return by Steven Sims. Lions turn the ball over twice. Play of the first half brought to you by State Farm. Here it is, Rondé, one more time.
It has to be this Steven Sims kickoff return. Just a dynamic return. Get 7 points on the board for the Redskins. Not a lot of offense, but a lot of excitement otherwise.
Redskins lead by 7. Time now for the Visa halftime report. We send you to Los Angeles. Kurt and the gang.
Get this done, baby. Get this done.
This catch, oh my God. He didn't even bring his other hand to the football. What a spectacular catch by Harmon.
Steven Sims will take this all the way. Today's game flow brought to you by Progressive as we get set for the second half on a beautiful day in Landover, Maryland. First half numbers, Lions turn the ball over twice. Kenny Albert along with Rondé Barber, Lindsey Czarniak down on the field. Lions with a late field goal, Rondé, and now they get the ball first, try and build on the momentum.
Well, they really haven't gotten anything going running the football. I came into this game wanting to see what Bo Scarborough was going to do in his follow-up game from last week, and he's only got 7 carries. I think he's around 25 yards or so if I looked at the stats correctly. But it's been a defensive football game on both sides of the ball. Both offensive had some spectacular plays, some catches by their receivers, but rhythm-wise, it hasn't been much of an offensive game. The best play of the game, play of the day so far has been Steven Sims' kickoff return for the Washington score, and I'm really looking forward to seeing both of these offense trying to get some rhythm, some momentum going, and see if they can find a way to score some points here. And we know that Detroit has been able to do that over the course of the past couple of games. It's not showing up so far today.
Before we get started, in Quarter number 3 down to the field, Lindsay.
Thank you, Kenny. Remember in that meeting, and Bill Callahan telling us that he wants his guys, he wants to be very honest and forthright with them. So he said he went in there, he said you guys are competing very hard. The one thing he said was Driskel is what they thought he was, talking about that athleticism. So that's one thing they want them to work on, containing their quarterback, obviously. On the flip side, Matt Patricia, he was very even-keeled, but he said that they've just got to stop hurting themselves. The biggest focus is driving home the fact that they cannot go backwards. They cannot keep having these turnovers, guys.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. And Matt Patricia's Lions will get the ball first. Bill Callahan may have found out a couple of secrets about Jeff Driskel this week. Callahan's son, Brian, is the Bengals offensive coordinator, and that is where Driskel started this season.
I don't know if there was much information exchanged there, but I think when you put the film on with Jeff Driskel, you understand what he is. And he can make a lot of the throws. He's definitely more athletic than he is a polished quarterback at this point. But when you talk about this Detroit football team in general, the offense has been okay. With the defensive-minded coach, the defense has really not found a way to match that productivity on the other side of the ball. But today, working against a rookie quarterback and a bunch of young rookie receivers, they're seeing a little bit more favorable results.
Ty Johnson is back deep for the Lions. Lions will start from their 25-yard line, trailing the Redskins by 7. And when we talk about the athleticism, Jeff Driskel was drafted by the Boston Red Sox. He did not even play baseball in college. He played baseball in high school. And he was a Red Sox draft pick back in 2013. Told us yesterday when he started playing football in 7th, 8th grade, he was a fullback and a defensive lineman.
I can't believe that, because he's, I don't know, what is he, 6'6"? He's a huge kid.
And you mentioned the potential switch to wide receiver in training camp this year in Cincinnati. Here he is starting for the Lions for the 3rd straight week. Hands it off, and there's Scarborough, Rodney. You talked about him a moment ago. One of the Redskin defenders lost a helmet, Landon Collins, as Scarborough gains 11, his best run of the day.
Really good block on the outside, and then, whoo, that's a big body trying to get underneath. Landon Collins actually makes a pretty good effort to get below those shoulder pads of Scarborough, but takes the brunt of that contact and loses his helmet in the process.
2 of those Alabama guys you mentioned earlier, 11 on these rosters, Collins and Scarborough, both former members of the Crimson Tide. Scarborough gains a couple on 1st down, and he joins some pretty exclusive company, Rondé, in his NFL and Lions debut last week. Billy Sims, Barry Sanders, Mikel LeSure, and Bo Scarborough, Lion running backs with at least 55 yards on the ground and a touchdown in their debut.
Well, who knows what Bo Scarborough is going to be as a pro, but that's pretty cool to be in a graphic with Barry Sanders after your first football game.
Here's Scarborough again, 1st down and more, chased by Fabian Moreau, who finally forces him out of bounds. So Scarborough, who carried the ball 7 times, 24 yards in the 1st half, gained 11 a moment ago, and now 30.
Well, watch the block. Joe Dahl's going to come out and seal a defensive player, Bostic. Redskins defenders get caught up in the same gap, and then that's an easy run for Bo Scarborough. And starting to see a little bit more of what we expected out of this Lions offense. Run the football. Try to win the war of attrition here on the road. Starting the 2nd half doing exactly that.
You called for this just prior to the start of the 3rd quarter. You said, I want to see some more of Bo Scarborough. So you have. This time it's Driskel, and Collins will force him out.
Well, yeah, you know, I just got on my phone and said, hey, Darrell Bevel, can you run the ball a little bit, make me right up here? But you're also going to see a lot of that. More of this zone read type of offense. And look, it's a great changeup. If you have the quarterback with the ability to do this, it's always going to keep the defense off balance. And you do it sparingly. You don't want your young quarterback, Jeff Driskel, to run the ball 6 or 7 times a game. But the 4 times that they've done it so far today, it's been very effective.
On 2nd and 10 with Scarborough Taking a break, it's Johnson. Ty Johnson to the Washington 27-yard line. Opening drive of the third quarter with the Detroit Lions trailing the Redskins by 7.
Well, you come into this football game in Detroit and Darrell Bevell, you're just look at the stats. The Redskins defense has been poor in rush defense because they've had so many opportunities against them. And all runs so far on this drive, I think they went in, made their adjustments, and said, look, we're going to go back to what we thought was going to work at the beginning of the game. We got a draft going here doing exactly that.
Third down and 5 from the Washington 27. As Driskel throws, it's complete to the tight end, Jesse James, the former Steeler. That's only his 9th catch of the season, and he picks up a first down. Now you look at the numbers by winning teams this year in the NFL. The Lions in their losses and their one tie comparable.
Yes.
So this offense has done a nice job, yet they're 3-7-1.
Well, it goes back to the other side of the football, just not being able to contain the offenses that they're playing against. And I mentioned earlier in the football game, they played some close football against Kansas City and Green Bay and lost those games. But since then, the defense has somewhat fallen apart and not been able to match the productivity. I say it again, that the offense has been able to generate.
Late game. Offense number 2. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Play clock ran all the way down. That is the first Detroit penalty. We talked about all their miscues in the first half, but they were not flagged over the first 2 quarters.
Well, they were clean through the first half of this football game, but the one thing that Matt Patricia told us when we sat down with them yesterday was penalties. They've been killing this football team, and to be the first one, you could obviously say that they went into this week emphasizing it. Delay a game is kind of an oddball penalty to get, especially after a positive play picking up the first down by Jesse James.
First and 15 following the penalty as Driskel throws. Catch is made by Marvin Jones at the 14-yard line. Gain of 11.
Well, the pocket is really clean here, but most impressive is watch him go through the motions here. Goes all the way from his left all the way to right and then throws this ball right on time.
Lions quickly back up to the line. Driskel on second down. Couldn't find anyone, and he steps out of bounds at the 11. So the Lions facing a 3rd down and 1 as Driskel gains 3 on the play. There's Greg Minuski, Redskins defensive coordinator.
Well, the Redskins have had a couple of opportunities down in the red zone to get stopped. See if they can get another one here. Someone very beginning of the game, they got to stop with the missed field goal attempt. They got another one last time Detroit was down here in the red zone. 3rd and 1. See what they got here.
Driskel throws, end zone, touchdown, Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas, the ex-Virginia Tech quarterback, down the road a little bit. This is a nice play-action pass by Detroit. Got a flag on the field, late flag in the end zone. Bill Vinovich going to the Detroit sideline. Obviously, it's going to be a flag against Washington.
After the touchdown, personal foul. Defense number 35. Detroit is elected to take the penalty on the kickoff.
And we'll figure this out. This is Logan Thomas going in motion. The play action pass really draws up the Redskins coverage, and I'm not sure who is in primary coverage. Is it Bostic or is it Monte Nicholson? And I think that's the flag on Nicholson.
Right at the late tackle.
A late tackle after the score.
So Nicholson flag. Logan Thomas, 2nd career touchdown. You mentioned a quarterback at Virginia Tech, grew up in the state of Virginia. And he reaches the end zone close to home as the Lions, down 10 at one point, have tied the game at 13. Dwayne Haskins making his third start as a Redskin. Played his high school football less than 30 miles from FedEx Field, and then it was on to the Ohio State University. And there are certainly enough quarterbacks around here for Dwayne Haskins to learn from.
Yeah, we talked to him about this last week, and he's obviously got Alex Smith, who's injured, but Case Keenum and Colt McCoy, a lot of experience under their belt. Tim Rattay is his quarterback coach, and of course his offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell and Matt Cavanaugh, been an assistant in the NFL for a long time, all quarterbacks. So he has that support group for sure at his position, and I think that's beneficial. And he told us, look, there's not too many voices in his head either. He's told us he really has been relying on Alex Smith, just his guidance and leadership. Lindsey mentioned that at the beginning of the broadcast, how important he's been to his development so far.
Haskins on the toss. It's Geis. Geis gains a yard, knocked out of bounds. Flag at the end of the play.
Personal foul. Defense number 25. Lowering his head to initiate contact. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Will Harris.
Well, these are hard, because watch Darius Geis. He's also going to lower his helmet to go in for contact here, and the onus is on who there? You know, this penalty can be called both ways. It's not just a defensive penalty. Harris gets penalized for it, but Geis had his helmet going down as well.
We spoke to Geis the other day about what he referred to as his aggressive, powerful running style in college at LSU, and that's what we've seen over these last two games, as that pass could not be handled by Terry McLaurin, and Haskins took a big hit from the corner, Justin Coleman.
Yeah, Justin Coleman, 27 right there in your screen, unscathed to the quarterback, and really just stays in there and throws a clean hit on Dwayne Haskins here. And Terry McLaurin down the field took a big hit. It almost looked like they were getting ready to throw a flag there on the defenseless receiver, but they decided that it was a clean hit on the back end.
2nd and 10 for Washington. In a tie game, Redskins had a 13-3 lead late in the second quarter. Geis to the 44-yard line to Los Angeles. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Upset brewing. Sam Darnold rolls to his right, throws to his left. Ryan Griffin, who signed that contract extension yesterday, get the touchdown. Jets leading this one over the Raiders 20-3. Kenny?
Thanks, Carissa. Jets were impressive here in their victory last week, looking for their 3rd straight win.
Yeah, how about it? Beat the Giants at home. They come up here and defeat the Redskins, and now beating which has been a surprisingly good Raiders team right now. They seem to have figured out their woes, so to speak.
3rd down and 7. Haskins was under pressure, and the pass was low, intended for Geis. Redskins will punt it away.
It's really just a 4-man pressure here. Nowhere for him to go. The Detroit Lions drop 7 guys back in coverage, and the only thing that he can do is, if you could coach him there, was get that ball out to the check down back Geis earlier. Maybe he can make a play once he has the football in his hands. Either way, this Detroit Lions defense looking to get themselves right against a rookie quarterback. Get off the field here.
Press Way punting from his 33-yard line. What a kick. Forcing Marvin Hall all the way back to the goal line. And Hall will be tackled by Troy Apke at the 2. Press Way pinning the Lions deep. A 56-yard punt, and then great coverage by Apke. Welcome back, just outside our nation's capital. Always fun to do some sightseeing when we're here for a Redskins game.
Some nice images picked up by our producer, Barry Landis. What a beautiful day yesterday in D.C.
Always has the camera ready. Lions with 50 rush yards on that last drive. Most of it from Scarborough. Here he is coming out of the end zone up the middle and gives the Lions some breathing room as he gains 8.
Well, you come out of that break saying that Marvin Hall probably made a mistake fielding that punt down at the 1-yard line, but you generally get in that situation as a play caller. All you can do is do direct runs. You don't want to mess around in the end zone with play action pass, anything that could stretch out and in a sack in the end zone. So good job up front, understanding that situation, and nice hard running by Bo Scarborough.
2nd down and 2. It's Scarborough again, and he picks up a 1st down out to the 14-yard line. Originally drafted by Dallas last year in the 7th round. Spent some time with Jacksonville and Seattle. You talked about the injuries here in Detroit. Kerryon Johnson is out. He's the Lions' leading rusher, and it's given Scarborough a nice opportunity over these last 2 weeks.
Well, he's not a runner that's going to make you miss. We saw the one play when he got in the open field. He's not even going to be a guy that runs away from you and makes a really big explosive, but the downhill running style, I think, really suits what they're trying to do on offense here in Detroit.
New set of downs for the Lions as Driskel's pass could not be handled by Marvin Jones with Jimmy Moreland defending.
Good coverage here by Jimmy Moreland. Just in the slot. He's not on the line of scrimmage, but he has him man-to-man, and good drive, great playing through the arms of the receiver and forcing this incompletion. The ball hits Marvin Jones in the chest. You might say it could have been a completion, but I thought that was great coverage by young Jimmy Moreland.
Out of Lindsey Zarniak's alma mater, James Madison.
Right down the street as well.
Harrisonburg, Virginia. 2nd and 10. Here's Scarborough on 2nd down. And again, it's John Bostic, Landon Collins. How many big plays have they both made today for this Redskins defense?
Bostic is just awesome on this play right here, sifting through the line and just flashing into the backfield and then letting Landon Collins and the rest of that defense clean up. He has been all over the football field, John Bostic has. They tend to like to rotate some of their defenders with him and Holcomb and Sean Dion Hamilton, but he has been a force here for this Redskins defense this afternoon.
3rd down and 13. McKissick in the backfield. Driskel swings it out to McKissick, and he will pick up a 1st down. J.D. McKissick, his first touch today on 3rd and 13. He gains 17 yards.
Well, if you're watching, you just can't let this happen. You give him so much space underneath, and then this is such a simple play. We used to call this express play because all you're doing is swinging it out to the running back. He's got 3 guys in front of him, and when you play loose on the back end in the secondary and linebackers, there's too much room for this guy to pick up the necessary yardage. Good play design, bad tackling, and bad design by that Washington defense on that snap.
Remember, this drive started at the Lions 2. Now at the 28. And Driskel again showing his athleticism as he picks up another Lions 1st down.
Oh, he has a really good play fake. I mean, this ball is so far into the belly of the running back. Look at his eyes, reading the in man on the line of scrimmage, subtly pulls it out and sends off to the races. And we saw earlier in the game where Holcomb was playing just the quarterback. On that snap, there was nobody responsible for Jeff Driskel, and he picks up good yardage.
He ran for 51 against the Cowboys last week. He has 46 rush yards today. From the 39 is McKissick. A stiff arm to Quinton Dunbar, nearly knocked his helmet off. Did come off at the end of the play, and a flag is thrown. Now McKissick got the arm up on that face mask of Dunbar.
Yeah, he was ripping at his face mask too. This is offensive face mask here against McKissick.
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 41. 15-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
I think if you just place your hand on his face mask and pull it away, but watch what he does here. He gets it, has a grip on it, and then just yanks at it until his helmet comes off. And I think that's a pretty easy penalty for them to call. And Quinton Dunbar knew right away he's asking for the flag as soon as his helmet comes off.
Mentioned earlier, Dunbar was a wide receiver at the University of Florida. He was one of Driskel's targets.
Which is unbelievable. That he can come in and be a productive corner after spending years at wide receiver in college.
Second down and 22. Pass is caught by Jones. When we asked Driskel about Quinton Dunbar, he said because he played wideout, he recognizes route concepts and he can pick things up pretty quickly when he's defending.
Oh, he's got 3 interceptions on the year. A couple of them have been really good interceptions too, the plant and drive variety. So, hey, there's some merit to that. It shows up on film. But what I like about him is just his length. He plays aggressive too, not only as a pass defender, but we just saw it also in run defense.
Third down and 17. Lions hurt by that McKissick face mask penalty. Play action as Driskel again can't find anyone downfield. And now the Lions will punt it away. Driskel down at the 40.
Well, again, if you bring pressure on James Driskel and he doesn't have anywhere to go, he's just going to run it. He trusts his legs enough in space to try to pick up some positive yardage. And on second down, why not? Takes a little bit of a hit right there going to the ground, but he does a good job protecting himself and the ball from that defender.
Yep, my apologies. This will be third down.
You know what you're talking about, Kenny. You get it right.
Third down and 11 for the Lions. As Driskel steps up, and he's brought down back at the 38-yard line. Guy you mentioned a moment ago, Rondé, Sean Dion Hamilton. Now the Lions will punt it away.
Oh, he is lucky at the end of this play that Moreland is not able to get a direct hit on his football. That ball's hanging right there. Almost a Call's fumble. Watch this. This is a dangerous way to run with the football. I know he's trying to square his shoulders and get a pass down the field, but very lucky that the swing and miss by Moreland was just a little bit off.
Trey Quinn is deep. Martin punting from his 29. Fair catch made at the 22-yard line by Trey Quinn. What a game for John Bostic. He's done a terrific job for this Redskins defense. Big congratulations from our entire crew to our producer, Barry Landis. It was announced this week that Barry will be inducted next October into the Randolph-Macon College Athletic Hall of Fame down in Richmond, Virginia. Football and baseball star and our leader.
Oh, he is the best. All the way down in Ashland, Virginia. You know there's some Randolph-Macon people watching you, Barry. Congratulations, man. You deserve it, dude. Took him long enough.
Yes. And he had no idea that was coming. Adrian Peterson on first down.
Adrian Peterson appreciates it, Barry. Don't worry.
Yes. Barry's brother Tim, already a member of the Randolph-Macon Hall of Fame, longtime college football coach. Second Landis will be inducted next October. Late third quarter here in Landover. Tied at 13.
Hey, Greg.
Talk so often about teams that score late in the second quarter and then get the ball first in the third, and that's what the Lions were able to do as Darius Slay makes the play. You talked about the matchup early on, Rondé, McLaurin and Slay, and Slay wins the battle that time.
Well, they were kind of reticent to tell us that this was going to be the matchup of the day, but inside, Darius Slay has followed number 17, McLaurin, all over the field, and that is exactly what you expect from your high-priced and valued corner in Darius Slay. That coverage was absolutely perfect. A lot of teams try to get their best receiver in the slot and run them away from the side or to the sideline because they hold all that room, but Darius Slay is right on top of it.
Third down and 8. Redskins must get to the 31. Haskins under pressure. Down he goes. Jarrett Davis his second sack of the season. Lions will get the ball back.
Well, it's only a 4-man pressure, but he just kind of moseys into this blitz. You see him right here. They're going to drop 7 other guys. So Dwayne Haskins drops back, a little bit confused by the look and doesn't see Jared Davis at all. And what a big hit on the quarterback. And this Lions defense, talking about getting right in a football game. You got a young quarterback, they're taking advantage of him here in the second half.
Snap infraction. Offense number 57. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That's on the long snapper, Nick Sundberg. So now Way will be punting out of his end zone. Danny Amendola deep for the Lions. Another terrific kick by Way, taken at the 35 by Amendola. And Amendola will be brought down at midfield. 15-yard return as Haskins was brought down by Davis in a tie game. Look at Matthew Stafford on the Lions sideline chatting with backup quarterback David Blau. Stafford 136 consecutive starts, missing his 3rd straight game. And he's been a huge assistance to Jeff Driskel over these past 3 weeks. Driskel on the Lions start from midfield in a 13-13 game, late 3rd quarter. On first down, it's Scarborough. And Scarborough will gain 7 on first down. For more on the Stafford-Driskel relationship, Lindsay.
Thanks, Kenny. I saw Matthew Stafford on the field before the game, and I asked him how he was doing. He said he's feeling a lot better, but obviously no timetable for when he comes back. I asked him, though, about Driskel, and he just broke into a huge smile, started laughing, and he's like, that guy's athleticism is just incredible. So it was cool to hear that from him. He's been helping a lot down here on the sidelines, too, talking to him after every drive.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Driskel with 50 yards on the ground for the 2nd straight game. Off the fake to Scarborough. Driskel sets, and now he fires to the end zone. Diving attempt made by Marvin Jones.
Well, this is a long developing play here. And Monte Nicholson in the middle of the field, he gets kind of caught looking at the quarterback. But this is such a pretty throw. And Kenny Galladay at the very end of this tries desperately to, sorry, that's Marvin Jones, tries desperately at the end to extend himself and make what would have been an awesome catch for a touchdown just out of his fingertips.
Now 3rd down and 3. Driskel on 3rd down. It is complete to Jones for a Lions first down at the Redskins 35, a gain of 8 as the clock winds down. Lions quickly back up to the line. 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. On first down, it is Driskel, and he will pick up another Lions first down. Holcomb makes the tackle as the 3rd quarter comes to an end. 11-yard run, Driskel with 63 on the ground as we head to the 4th here in Landover, tied at 13. We head to the 4th quarter. Redskins had a 13-3 lead late in the 2nd. Lions have scored the last 10 points. Since Washington took that 10-point lead, Rondé, they have been outgained 201 yards to 4. Redskins have run only 11 plays during that time. The Lions 35 plays.
The Lions are eating up the clock with the running game here. They got some advantageous passes, but it's been the running game that's taken them this far now.
From the 24, it is Scarborough. Gain of 5 down to the 19 as we head for a game break. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Saints have 24-18 on the Panthers. Drew Brees to Michael Thomas. Brees' 3rd passing touchdown of the day. Saints leading 31-18. Kenny, Rondé, and Lindsay.
What a season it's been for Michael Thomas. As we check out the NFC South standings, his uncle, Keyshawn Johnson, was a teammate of yours.
That kid is unbelievable. In a long margin leading the league in receptions, too.
He might set a league record. 2nd and 5. Driskel under pressure. Flag is thrown as Driskel throws it out of bounds.
This is definitely a hold. Tim Settle gets drugged to the ground here.
Holding. Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. Speed second down.
It's on the right guard, Kenny Wiggins.
And Kenny Wiggins starting at right guard with their center out. You saw him just throw him to the ground. It was an easy call for Bill Vinovic. I mean, Detroit gets down here. They're trying to take a shot, but look, previous weeks we've seen so many coverage lapses by the Redskins secondary. I haven't seen any today. I don't know if it's the change in personnel or whether they've cleaned up a lot of those mistakes, but there hasn't been a lot of wide open, I should say, running receivers here today for Detroit.
2nd and 15. Catch is made by Galladay, and he breaks free, gains a couple more yards. Moreau couldn't bring him down.
And Bill Callahan, when we were talking to him about those mistakes, like, look, all week, him and Greg Minuski spent time just talking about those communication mistakes. And I wonder sometimes, that was Jim Tomsula in your screen there, but I wonder sometimes how in week 12, which we are now, how it takes so long for things to click in. And look, they benched Josh Norman at the end of last week. They benched him to start this game for Moreau, who is now injured on the field here. And sometimes it's just putting the guy on notice, putting the whole unit on notice. See if we can take a look here. He's the one that made the initial contact on Galladay here, and I didn't see anything significant. Maybe a shoulder. You see him holding in his arm there as he's rolling on the ground, but keep an eye on him, see where he is. He's had an interception, a pretty decent coverage for the most part for this Redskins secondary.
Replaced by Simeon Thomas, number 38. Josh Norman on the sidelines.
Simeon Thomas came into the game last week as well. Bunch of young guys they're still trying to get some looks at.
3rd down and 6. Lions must get to the 14 for a 1st down. As Driskel is forced back by Kerrigan, connects with Logan Thomas, who scored the Lions touchdown back in the 3rd quarter. And Thomas picks up a 1st down.
Well, they're playing some sort of zone coverage. Logan Thomas is going to come right through your screen here, and nobody there. A couple of the underneath defenders turn their back to the quarterback. There's nobody in anywhere in the vicinity. Ryan Kerrigan was inches away from getting him to the ground, getting Jeff Driskel to the ground, but the throw is easy. Logan Thomas, another big pickup, and Detroit is down inside the scoring area again.
Ty Johnson in the backfield. 1st and goal from the Redskins 8. Driskel looking end zone. Can't find anyone. Spins away. Still with it. And now he throws it out of bounds.
Driskel is trying to make a play. He's talking about quarterbacks wanting to step up into the pocket. He almost steps up into a sack here, trying to buy himself some time. You see him scurry, and then, oh, I got to get out of here. There's nowhere to throw this football. And smartly, at the end of the day, just throws it out of bounds. The coverage is good. You see the switch off there with Quinton Dunbar on Marvin Jones, and Jeff Driskel can do nothing but get rid of this football late.
Lions empty the backfield, 2nd and goal. Now Scarborough shifts into the backfield from the Washington 8-yard line. The handoff to Scarborough, and he will take it all the way down inside the 3.
Detroit now with 167 yards on the ground. We asked Bo Scarborough to back up his performance from a week ago. He's done that. 93 carries on those, or 93 yards on those 16 carries, almost 6 yards per tote. I wonder if we're going to turn around and hand it again. Remember last week in this situation, they ran a read option and Jeff Driskel scored. See what Derek Bevel dials up here.
10th play of the drive for Detroit. 3rd and goal as Driskel throws out of bounds. Jones could not make the catch inbounds. So the Lions will send out the field goal unit.
Well, they put Marvin Jones in the slot, said you got all this room to run to the sideline. Quinton Dunbar, sorry, that's Simeon Thomas, the replacement, in pretty good coverage, and Jeff Driskel has to float it out of bounds. So all in all, despite them driving all the way down the field, give Washington credit for getting this stop here down on the goal line.
That Prater, 2 of 3 today, missed at this end. But this time a chip shot, 21-yard attempt. The Lions have their first lead of the game, and they have led in every game this season. 16-13 Detroit. Redskins trail by 3, an opportunity for Kevin O'Connell's offense. Redskins had a 13-3 lead in this game. Steven Sims accounting for the only Washington touchdown on a 91-yard kickoff return back in the second quarter. Sims takes a knee. Redskins will start from their 25. It's college football rivalry week on Fox. It all starts with the big noon Saturday game of the week. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 13, Michigan. Then Notre Dame and Stanford. Followed by Bedlam as Oklahoma takes on Oklahoma State at 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Well, we're going to see what this ex-Buckeye could do here, and really the challenge for Kevin O'Connell, as it is with his rookie play caller, is to put together a plan, executable plays that can get this offense going. Only 111 yards in this football game as this series starts.
Play action, Haskins with time. He throws, and it's complete to Kelvin Harmon for a Redskins first down out at the 49-yard line.
Well, what he can do, Dwayne Haskins, is this. If you give him time, he can really push the ball down the field. Kevin Harmon, in 2 weeks, is really starting to show that he could be maybe that number 2 receiver here in Washington.
And now a handoff on first down. Geis hit back behind the line. Prior to that big play to Harmon, this is after the Redskins took a 13-3 lead late in the second quarter. Only 4 yards, 248 for Detroit, and only 11 Washington offensive plays.
Well, they were certainly playing a little bit closer to the vest, but those 4 yards, it's almost inexcusable. Yeah, I know that Dwayne Haskins starts to get going later in games. We saw that last week. He's going to have to get it going here.
Second down and 11 again. It is Geis on the push. Finally brought down at the 45-yard line. It will be third down and 6 for the Redskins.
Well, it's an offense really that, since Bill Callahan's taken over, is predicated itself on running the football, maybe getting some play action passes going after a successful run. That's why you see them trying to continue to force that issue. But really it's going to come down to Dwayne Haskins delivering on some throws that he hasn't been able to make, especially the ones he hasn't made early in this football game. Only 7 completions, Kenny, in this game so far.
Saw Kevin O'Connell calling in the play. Haskins on third down. Harmon in a fight for the football, and it is picked off. The pass intercepted. First of his career for the rookie out of Penn State, Amani Oruwariye.
Great play by the rookie. Watch him fight for this ball. Only their 4th interception of the year. Oh, Kenny, I spent all last night trying to figure out how to pronounce Amani's last name, Oruwariye. And I think the more plays he makes, the more people are going to learn to get it right. This is a great interception here. The coverage was so good. And watch him secure this thing to the ground. We gave a couple of looks at it to make sure it was what it was. And this Lions defense that hasn't taken the ball away very often through the passing defense does it good there.
Here is Scarborough. Bo Scarborough across midfield and finally knocked out of bounds by Monte Nicholson. However, Bill Vinovich.
Holding, offense number 71. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's on Rick Wagner, the right tackle.
Yeah, and Rick Wagner's working against Ryan Kerrigan. He just grabs him as Kerrigan's trying to get away from this block. Here's Ryan Kerrigan at the top of your screen right here. I'm like, pointer's not working there. You see the grab right there. It's right in front of Bill Vidovic. That's where the flag comes in. Right there. That's a hold. But how effortlessly is Bo Scarborough able to bounce these balls outside? I mean, he's been impressive second half here.
This is Ty Johnson. Johnson out to the 28. Under 10 minutes remaining, Lions trailed 13-3 at one point. They've scored the last 13 points, and the interception by Oruwariye a moment ago, his first of his career, and the first by a Lion in their last 6 games. So he's now only 46 behind my partner. Second down and 17. Driskel's pass is short. Looking for the tight end, T.J. Hawkinson, the rookie out of Iowa. Third and long upcoming.
Haven't heard much from T.J. Hawkinson. He's, to me, tight end number 1 on this defense. They go out and get Jesse James. He only has 1 catch today. Logan Thomas has 2 catches on the day, plus the touchdown. There's a big third down. This Detroit Lions team trying to right the ship, so to speak, get back in the win column. They'll go a long way here. This is 3rd and forever. I don't know how many play calls Darrell Bevell has for this situation.
Here's McKissick, and a nice tackle made by Jimmy Moreland.
Jimmy Moreland's had himself a nice little day, starting at that nickel position here in Washington.
There is a flag.
Illegal shift. Offense number 19. Penalties decline. Result of the play. 4th down.
So the Lions unable to capitalize on the Oruwariye interception.
Well, Driskel goes quick, and you've seen Galladay right there is not set for that 1 second that is necessary.
By the way, have you been counting how many times I've said Oruwariye?
You're practicing.
Rolls
man.
off the tongue.
You're practicing.
Sam Martin punting from his 18-yard line. Moving to his left, Trey Quinn. And he'll be back immediately at the 21-yard line by D. Virgin. 4th quarter in Landover. Lions lead by 3. Just under 9 minutes remaining with the Lions leading the Redskins by 3. Haskins only 7 completions. Geis leading rusher with 29 yards. McLaurin 3 receptions. Redskins with only 141 yards of offense, 8 first downs the entire game.
And much like last week when they were out of the game, we'll see if Dwayne Haskins, when they were out of the running to win that game. This is a different situation for Dwayne Haskins in this offense. They have a chance to go down and win a football game here. See how he handles this pressure here.
From the 22-yard line on first down, there is a flag, 2 flags, as Geis is finally forced out of bounds, but again, we'll check with the referee, Bill Vidovic.
Holding. Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Donald Penn.
Well, these balls that bounce out to the to the edge of the offense, and there's the hold right there from Romeo Okwara's right shoulder pad, I should say. When these balls bounce out to the outside, I mean, it's tough for offensive linemen who usually have their hands up inside to continue to hold on to that block, and he got caught there.
First down and 20. It's Geis. We will head to Los Angeles for a game break. Carissa.
Thank you, Kenny. Seahawks up 10-3 in Philly. Russell Wilson will hand it off to Rashad Penny, who does the rest. 58-yard score, his career-long. Seahawks leading this one 17-3. Kenny?
Carissa's hometown Seahawks getting it done. 14-point lead over the Eagles.
The past 2 weeks since we've seen Darius Geis come back into the fold here, it's been really a tale of 2 halves. He's getting all the work here in the second half. Haven't seen Adrian Peterson at all.
Second down and 17 as Haskins fires downfield, and Harmon unable to come down in bounds after making the catch.
Well, he tries to fit this in the hole here, but Will Harris does a really good job covering this distance, and Harmon makes the catch, but you get all the way to from the middle of the field over to get this receiver out of bounds. That's great range by the young safety, Will Harris.
Rookie out of Boston College, now 3rd down and 17 under 8 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. Redskins led 13-3. Lions with a score right before halftime. Touchdown on their first drive of the 3rd quarter. And then a go-ahead field goal. Haskins airing it out for Harmon. He dives, but could not complete the play.
How about that arm strength, though? He just runs right through this zone defense. And you see the safety, Will Harris, he's sleeping on this route a little bit. I don't know if he believes that the quarterback can get the ball this far. But could have been a great catch and got them out of a backed up situation. 65 yards or so on that throw. Oh, and he wants that one back.
Amendola is deep, Way punting from his 5-yard line. Taken at the 38 by Amendola. A flag. Amendola down at the 42.
Pretty sure this is a block in the back on Jeremy Sprinkle, who was down in coverage.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 30. 10-yard penalty. Detroit ball. 1st down.
So it's against the Lions. Divergent left side of your screen, number 30 on Jeremy Sprinkle.
Just enough. A hind quarter block right there on Sprinkle, pushing him past the returner.
So Jeff Driskel on the Lions with a 3-point lead. How about this note on Driskel? Look at his passing numbers. He also has 63 yards on the ground to go along with Scarborough's 93. Driskel is the first Lions quarterback with at least 50 rushing yards in back-to-back games since Rodney Peete back in 1990.
You are going deep on your stats, Kenny. 1990. Just shows you how much of a different type of quarterback Jeff Driskel is than Matthew Stafford, and exactly what Darrell Bevell is as a play caller with this quarterback under center.
Yeah, Stafford has most of the franchise passing records. As Scarborough takes it out to the 31 for a gain of 4.
Well, you talk about him. This is what he can do. A lot of zone reads, but also this scrambling ability. He hits his back foot. And if he doesn't see what he likes, he takes off. He has this ability. His long strides are quicker than you might expect. This is where Washington has had no clue. Really haven't been able to find an answer for the zone read. If he reads that in guy on the line of scrimmage, and if the linebacker is not able to get over the top and account for him, he's picking up great yardage.
Second down and 6. It's Scarborough. Ryan Kerrigan shaken up on the play. Looks like an issue with his face mask as well.
Well, this is what you generally call split zone. So you're going to run zone one way, and the motion man's going to come across the formation, Thomas there, and pick off the in guy to the line of scrimmage. And Ryan Kerrigan just got drilled. Seems to be all right, but that was quite a hit right into his chest. He's taking a little breather here. Check on him.
4-time Pro Bowler Ryan Kerrigan to the sidelines. Third down and 5 for Detroit. 6.5 remaining.
Hey, Joey.
Empty backfield. Fabian Moreau. Bottom of your screen. Had the interception earlier. Then was shaken up. Driskel hit. And the ball is recovered by the center, Graham Glasgow. After the hit by Montez Sweat.
Well, yeah, just another slide protection this way, and Sweat is coming off the other side, just unaccounted for. And good fortune that that ball bounces right up to Graham Glasgow, because to me that's an empty hand. So that's going to be a fumble, sack fumble for Washington. But instead he gets the fortunate bounce and are able to secure it for the punt.
Fifth Redskins sack. Washington will get the ball back, trailing by 3.
Well, they continue to give themselves opportunities. The defense finding ways to get after this Lions offense, but in return, Dwayne Haskins and the Redskins offense hasn't been able to take advantage of it. And at this point, 6 minutes left in the game, I just feel like this has got to be the drive where they get it done, or they're going to run out of time.
Trey Quinn is back deep. Martin punting from the 20. Taken at the 33 by Quinn. Spins. And then is tackled. And another flag comes in.
It's almost every kicking play we're getting a flag here. Not going to help Washington.
Return. Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 58. 10-yard penalty. Washington ball, first down.
We'll be back right after this message from Bud Light. Another opportunity for Dwayne Haskins and the Redskins offense. So look at their second half possessions, Rondé. 3 punts and a turnover.
What is that, 14 plays? Just haven't been able to get anything going at all on offense.
Redskins now have 3 rookie wide receivers on the field, along with the rookie quarterback in Haskins. As Haskins throws, hits Adrian Peterson. You mentioned we haven't seen Peterson for quite some time. And he makes the catch, picks up a first down, gains 22 yards on the play.
Adrian makes a nice catch here. This ball is a little bit outside of him, but look at that catch.
So you have 3 rookie wideouts. Who do you pass the ball to? The future Hall of Famer.
Absolutely you do. And Adrian Peterson's not been known as a pass catcher, although he can do it. Darrell Bevell reminded us that his first touchdown in his NFL career was a 60-yard catch.
Right, Bevell was his offensive coordinator with the Vikings back in 2007. From the 44 on first down. Haskins complete for another first down. It's McLaurin at the Detroit 41 as we head for another game break. Kurt Menefee.
All right, when you guys are done, keep in mind America's game of the week comes your way. Tom Brady, all fired up as his 9-1 Patriots get ready to host Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys with the #1 offense. Patriots with the #1 defense. That and a whole lot more superlatives coming your way in America's game of the week when you guys wrap up.
We cannot wait. Thanks, Kurt. Cowboys, Patriots. Bill and Troy, America's game of the week on Fox. As Peterson takes it to the Lions 35.
Well, Adrian Peterson comes in the game, brings a little bit of energy here, and really give some credit to Dwayne Haskins as well. The pass to Adrian, yes, he was wide open, but that throw he just made to Terry McLaurin was a fantastic throw. Stepped up in the pocket, waited for McLaurin to get past the ball and just drilled it to him. So talk about them struggling on offense. He's got something going here on this drive.
4 receivers set up to the left side. Now Smallwood shifts into the backfield. Second down and 4. This is Smallwood. And he gets hit hard by Tavon Wilson. Takes him down about a yard shy of the marker.
Big hit by Tavon Wilson, but really some creative play calling here by Kevin O'Connell. Finding ways to get Dwayne Haskins the ball out of his hand quickly to his running back. Watch this hit. Bam!
Tavon Wilson grew up in D.C. His late grandfather, was a chef here at FedEx Field. Used to take Tavon to Redskins games.
That's a great story. Tavon Wilson, we mentioned it earlier in the football game, somewhat of a tone setter, has familiarity with Patricia, who's with them in New England. Kind of the guy who was responsible for getting everybody right on this defense.
3rd down and 1 as Peterson will pick up a first down. to the Detroit 30. Under 3 minutes remaining with the Redskins trailing by 3.
Just an angry run here. He gets a good block by number 77, Eric Flowers. Comes right through that gap between him and the center. And just using his brute strength and power. And in that process, he knocked a couple of the Detroit Lions guys to the ground. This is Snacks Harrison on the ground here. He was right at the point of attack. Number 98, your nose tackle. He stretches out to come make this tackle. There's hit on Adrian Peterson, and it's really hard to see what could be ailing him there.
So the Lions medical staff tending to the former All-Pro, Snacks Harrison. Back in a moment. Walked off to the Lions sideline, shaken up on the previous play. Redskins 1st and 10 from the Detroit 30. Here's Sims looking to throw. Steven Sims will throw it out of bounds.
Well, this is a play you just kind of dial up, hope to catch the Detroit Lions unaware. How about Steven Sims, though, pulling his best quarterback play is dead, throw it away. Well, he's a guy with the ball in his hand. You expect something exciting. He makes the prudent decision.
We saw the 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown earlier by Sims. Now 2nd and 10, just over 2 minutes remaining. Haskins on 2nd down, complete to Geis. Geis out of bounds at the Detroit 24 as we hit the 2-minute warning in Landover. Haskins and the Redskins down by 3. There's Adrian Peterson. He's the 6th leading rusher in NFL history, closing in on Curtis Martin in 5th. Well, Frank Gore earlier today surpassed Barry Sanders, the ex-Lion. Gore now 3rd all-time in rushing yards. How about that?
He's done it the hard way, too. Barry did it in about 9 years.
Yes. 3rd down and 4. Play clock at 5. Here's Haskins on 3rd down. He throws to the end zone. A diving attempt by McLaurin.
Has this not been the story of the day for Washington? Just near misses all over the place in the pass game. And Terry McLaurin right there in the slot, just going to outrun Darius Slay to the corner. And this is a perfect opportunity for a big play. And again, just out of the reach of Terry McLaurin, which would have been a huge play.
So now the Redskins send out Dustin Hopkins.
Well, give them credit. They had been struggling mightily on offense the entire game, certainly the second half. They put together a drive that gives them an opportunity to tie this football game.
42-yard attempt from the left hash. Hopkins' kick is good. So the Redskins have tied it at 16.
We got ourselves a little bit of a game here. This is a line drive type of kick, but it does get the job done, ties this football game.
Redskins had a 13-3 lead at one point. Lions came all the way back. They've led in every game this season, and now 16 apiece.
Well, it's not always going to be pretty, but we got a football game here. At the end here, under 2 minutes left, Detroit and their young quarterback, Jeff Driskel, gets a chance here to go down and get a win. So it hasn't been pretty at all, especially on offense, but it's going to be fun here these last minute and 49 seconds.
Driskel does have one win as a starter. That was last year with Cincinnati against Oakland. Dwayne Haskins on the other side is looking for his first victory as an NFL starter. A minute 49 remaining. Tied at 16. Redskins defense heading out onto the field. Lindsay.
Hey, Kenny, yeah, the Lions are going to have a little bit of a leg up here against that Washington defense. Ryan Kerrigan was walking off the field. They just tell me that he has suffered a concussion and is obviously out.
There's Greg Mineski, the defensive coordinator. Thanks, Lindsay. Kerrigan, one of the leaders on this Redskins defense. 9th year in Washington. 4-time Pro Bowler, 2 sacks in the game last week against the Jets. So Kerrigan not out there. Lions have all 3 timeouts in a tie game. Here comes Ryan Anderson. Driskel steps up and throws. And the catch is made by Danny Amendola for a Detroit first down, gain of 11.
Danny Amendola has been really a security blanket for Jeff Driskel. He told us this, and look at the athleticism of Driskel, finding a way to step up in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, making that connection.
From the 36, Driskel throws, and Monte Nicholson is right there to make the tackle on Kenny Golladay. Gain of just 1.
Well, let's see how both coaches manage this last minute of the game or so, timeout-wise, how they decide to win it. Jeff Driskel needs to protect the football here.
Both teams with 3 timeouts. As Driskel stays on his feet and then is picked off. He was, or nearly picked off. He was trying to throw it out of bounds. Jimmy Moreland thought he had it.
Jimmy Moreland is absolutely going to be kicking himself. This has to be an interception. Great pressure by Washington. Jeff Driskel doesn't know what to do. He's trying to find a way to get rid of it. Look at this. Oh, my goodness.
Almost.
If he catches this, he scores, wins the football game maybe for Washington. Near miss for the Redskins.
How close was that?
Oh. A lot of things got to go right trying to get a win. That one needed to go right for Washington. Third down here.
And 9. Driskel sets and throws. No, it's intercepted by Quinton Dunbar.
Well, we talked about Quinton Dunbar being able to run routes for receivers. Watch this one. He is just sitting here almost waiting. He knows this is going to be a dagger, that inside breaking route, that 15-yard dig. And just watch Dunbar. He barely moves. He knows this ball's not going over his head, looking at the quarterback the whole way, and I can't believe Jeff Driskel threw this football right into the arms of the Washington DB, and they get their takeaway in just enough time maybe to work down the field for Dwayne Haskins and see if they can get a win at home. And speaking of Haskins, this is a huge, and I can't emphasize how big of an opportunity for some real-time, game-winning type quarterback play. Let's see what he has going here.
48 seconds, 3 timeouts. Haskins on first down, throws near side, broken up by Slay, intended for McLaurin.
Well, there's no going on Darius Slay on these outbreaking routes. He is all over Terry McLaurin here. This is another pass, much like the interception earlier, a little bit inside. He fights hard to get in on that pass defense and almost intercepts it himself. An incompletion probably helps Washington here. Still 3 timeouts left. They can make some plays. Just have to get within field goal range to give their kicker an opportunity to win the football game.
They need about 20 yards to get into field goal range for Hopkins. 2nd and 10. Haskins under pressure. Haskins across midfield. All the way to the Lions 44. And now the Redskins will use a timeout.
Really good athleticism and a smart decision. Donald Penn's just going to get beat off the edge here by Romeo Okwara, and he steps up and says, I'll do it myself. And doesn't slide, takes that dive, so he gets the forward progress for the first down, and they're using a timeout here. Good escapability. His athleticism is underrated, not talked about much. That was a nice one there.
We welcome a new audience. Those of you who have been watching the Bears and the Giants, Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Lindsey Zardiak from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Redskins and Lions tied at 16, 36 seconds remaining. Redskins moments ago with a huge interception by Quinton Dunbar. Now they try to get into field goal range. Dwayne Haskins picked up a first down with his legs on the last play. They are close to Dustin Hopkins' range from the 44-yard line. Haskins' pass knocked down, with A'Shawn Robinson getting a piece of it.
Oh, A'Shawn Robinson sees that he can't get there and tips it up, and nearly an interception by Romeo Okwara. Watch 95 coming to your screen as this ball's floating up in the air, and it's just out of his reach. Dwayne Haskins had an open receiver down there. Watch how close this is to an interception. Right there, just a near miss.
Dwayne Haskins in his third start, first-round pick out of Ohio State, looking for his first NFL victory. Redskins have lost 9 straight here at home. 2nd and 10. Haskins throws, complete. Kelvin Harmon ruled down at the 38-yard line. Redskins call timeout with 25 seconds remaining. Redskins took a 13-3 lead. This was back in the second quarter. Steven Sims with a 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. They would add a field goal, led by 10. Jeff Driskel early in the third quarter finds the tight end Logan Thomas. Lions tied the game. Detroit would take the lead. They've led in every game this season. And then the Redskins with a field goal from Hopkins with 1:49 remaining to tie it. And then the interception by Washington's Quinton Dunbar.
And really, it's of note that this Redskins offense hasn't had anything going until now. The last 2 drives by Dwayne Haskins, Kevin O'Connell, the offensive coordinator, finally started to produce. And they're very much close to field goal range.
Timeout taken by the Lions.
First start, timeout. Detroit.
Right now, if the Redskins do not gain another yard, it would be a 56-yard attempt. Hopkins trying to warm up that foot.
It was a beautiful day earlier.
His career long is 56.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day earlier. It's got a little chilly as the sun's drifted down behind the stadium here.
How's the wind, Lindsey?
Guys, it's not awful. Picked up a little bit, so it's not died down any, but it is still a bit of a factor.
3rd down and 5 for the Redskins. 26 seconds remaining. They have 1 timeout. Haskins on 3rd down. He throws, and it's caught by Terry McLaurin at the Detroit 21-yard line. 17-yard connection between the Ohio State teammates Haskins and McLaurin.
Well, matchup of the day. There was one premium on this side of the ball. Darius Slay versus Terry McLaurin, and he won the matchup when he needed, and he made a great throw. We saw some balls sail from Dwayne Haskins early in his football game. Missed some wide open receivers. That one was right on point, right when they needed it.
5th catch by McLaurin today.
Well, he's had some big misses. Dwayne Haskins just talked about him. Wide open here, misses Terry McLaurin. Later in the drive down the field, just underthrows Kelvin Harmon. Here he has Terry McLaurin in the end zone and just misses him. But the biggest one of the day was the one that you just saw. Gets them down to the 21-yard line. And without a timeout, you're wondering they'll run one more play or they'll bring the field goal unit on now.
Here they come. Redskins use their final timeout. So Hopkins will come out to attempt a 39-yard field goal.
I'm surprised they didn't run a play before calling that timeout, just because of the clock. 20 seconds is enough after the kick maybe get something crazy happen on the other side of the ball. But again, I think with a young quarterback, you're making the right decision. Don't put too much pressure on him. He's done enough. Put him in a position to win the football game. Let the kicker see if they can seal their first win in 9 games, 10 games, I should say.
Hopkins 3 for 3 today. This is for the lead from 39. It is good.
Well, with 16 seconds left to play, that's still a good feeling for Dwayne Haskins. Look at that, the emotion that his team is having for him. It's big for this organization. They have been mired in mediocrity forever. Cannot find a way to win here in Landover, Maryland. The quarterback puts together 2 really good drives at the end of this football game, makes some nice completions, and then Hopkins puts an exclamation point on it. In Detroit and Matt Patricia are saying, not again.
The Redskins with just 1 win on the season. How about that emotion from Dwayne Haskins as his team has taken the lead with the offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell.
Go back one more time to this throw from Dwayne Haskins to Terry McLaurin. Patience and poise in the pocket. He's shown a little bit of stepping up, most importantly. It was a little high again, but his dynamic receiver makes a great catch. There's the love. Now it's up to Nate Katzer's special team unit. No mistakes here. We've already seen a kickoff return for a touchdown actually going this way. Coverage units got to be big. If you're Washington and Detroit, you need something special to happen.
Without their regular return man, Jamal Agnew, who has a touchdown this season, no opportunity for Ty Johnson. So with 16 seconds remaining, Jeff Driskel and the Lions offense back out onto the field. They have 2 timeouts. A look at Driskel's numbers. Huge interception, though, moments ago. The Lions had the lead at the 2-minute warning. Huge interception thrown by Driskel. Quinton Dunbar with his 4th pick of the season.
Yeah, and it was a mistake by Driskel that led to that interception. All you wanted to do at that time is protect the football and just kind of let the game play out. He tried to get something out of nothing, and now Washington, keep the ball in front of you here. Detroit, see what they can come up with. It's going to have to be, again, something crazy. They're going to get down in position to tie the game.
All right, here we go. Driskel is wrapped up. Got rid of it. Catch is made by Ty Johnson out at the 33-yard line.
Was that a pass? Or was this like a fumble? He threw this left-handed. Oh, he's going to be down. He's going to be down. His knee was down before that ball came out.
That took 10 seconds, Rondé. So only 6 seconds remaining. Yeah, it looked like his knee was down. We're in the final 2 minutes, so it would come from upstairs, and now Bill Vinovich.
The previous play is under review.
Will head to the monitor. Certainly looked like Driskel's knee was down. So 10 seconds went off the clock there as Bill Vinovich takes a look at the last play. We welcome another new audience. Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, Lindsey Czarniak. And we welcome in Dean Blandino from Los Angeles. Dean, what did you see?
Yeah, so Driskel's knee is down. You see the shin, the knee. They'll bring it back. Before he threw the ball, he was down. They'll bring it back to this point. We're also inside 2 minutes, and it's a running clock, so you have a 10-second runoff potential, but the Lions have timeouts. They'll use one to save the 10-second runoff.
Thanks, Dean. Great point. Detroit can use a timeout to save the 10-second runoff as Matt Patricia awaits the ruling from referee Bill Vinovich.
And so we saw that 10-second happen earlier in the year. I'm not really remembering the game. May have been New Orleans. But with their timeouts, they were able to save. Otherwise, this game would be over if they didn't have any timeouts remaining.
State Farm game break is coming up. Now, they will probably add a few seconds as well if Driskel was ruled down, because some time ran off as he got rid of the football. A catch was made along the far sideline.
The quarterback was down by contact at the 24-yard line. To avoid the 10-second runoff, Detroit has selected to take their second timeout. Please reset the game clock to 8 seconds.
So they get 2 seconds back and use the timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff, as Dean pointed out. America's Game of the Week up next, Cowboys and Patriots. Washington Redskins took a 3-point lead moments ago on a Dustin Hopkins 39-yard field goal.
Well, not
8
much
seconds remaining.
Yeah, not much you could do here. Obviously doesn't have the arm strength to throw this all the way down, so you call this rugby ball. If this could be a short completion, let them do the toss and throw it back type play.
All right, here we go. Driskel's pass is picked off, intended for Jones. And that will put the exclamation point on a Washington victory. Fabian Moreau with his second pick today. Third by the Redskins as Dwayne Haskins celebrates with the fans. His first victory as a starting quarterback in the National Football League.
Probably the first of many. I did not like what was going on early in this football game with the quarterback, but he found a way to rally him at the end. And look at Fabian Moreau jumping this play, obvious type play. They were going to throw something short and run it around, but this Redskins defense were all over the place last week in that loss to the Jets. Today, they get Jeff Driskel for 3 interceptions, none more critical than Quinton Dunbar's for the last field goal attempt, and Dwayne Haskins all smiles.
Taking selfies with a fan as Haskins celebrates. Case Keenum will come on to take a knee as the Redskins defeat the Lions 19-16, their first home victory since last October 21st against the Dallas Cowboys. Redskins in Carolina next week. Short week for the Lions. They will host the Bears on Thanksgiving Day. For Rondé Barber and Lindsey Czarniak, so long from Landover. Time now for the State Farm game break.